We're in the 2025 Chevy Traverse High Country. They have reintroduced this trim level for 2025, and it comes in, that's the nice wireless phone integration here. It comes in at a cool $56,990. Today, I'm going to review this. Reggie's coming along with us. She's going to help us review this vehicle, and I'm going to tell you if this vehicle is worth the money, and if not, what should you be doing? So stay to the end because I'll give you guys a lot of recommendations about a 3-row family hauler. All right, so let's get on the outside. Let's open the hood. Now, a few years back, the redesign, the previous generation Traverse, it had a V6. Well, that V6 has been replaced. It's very trendy to replace things with turbo 4-cylinder. So this is a 2.5-liter turbo 4-cylinder, direct injected, 8-speed auto. It is impressive when it comes to power numbers, 328 horsepower and 326 pound-feet of torque. Now this is a front-wheel drive model, which is perfectly fine for most people and here in South Florida, but of course you can get this in all-wheel drive. Fuel economy this week, I've been driving mostly in town, and you're able to get, well, I'm seeing 20 miles per gallon, all right? We do have parking sensors up front. You have a 360 camera, and this High Country does add some chrome pieces around the grill, around the fog lights. I like the daytime running lights here. I think it's a very handsome SUV overall. This High Country also has these massive 22-inch wheels. Look how good this looks in this red paint color. Of course, you got the Traverse lettering there. It's very, very long. All right, there's just more cargo capacity, more people capacity in this compared to something like a Nissan Pathfinder. As we come to the back, this seems to be a trend with a lot of new Chevy products. These taillights here, like the Blazer EV, for example, has very similar taillights here. I love the quad tip exhaust. Rear windshield wiper. We do have a digital rear mirror. I'll show you guys in a little bit. Nice High Country chromey badge there. Now I can fold down the seats with these buttons in this High Country, and there's actually no accessory power other than this 12 volt, so at least we have that. Now you could also put a tonneau cover here, and lifting this up, we have some additional space underneath. Does that mean we have no spare tire? Well, let me look underneath. No spare tire there. Sometimes they hide them underneath where these plugs are, but I'd have to undo those plugs. So I'll just go ahead and look online if there's a spare tire in this. Now, we can fold these down and get a lot better cargo capacity, of course, if you don't need the people carrying capacity. Now, we do have smart key access on all the doors, which is really, really nice. You see they're chrome lined here on this High Country. No window shades, but the materials here are real nice. The door materials are great. We got the Bose sound system in here. I have not been listening to it because I typically have kids in the car, but for podcasts, it sounds great. I can also fold this seat forward. The push of a button, there it goes. Kind of ejector seat, so it's real easy to get the kids in the back. Reggie, what's your, are you comfortable? Do you have good leg space there? Mm-hmm. Okay, and look, you have a little button. Go ahead and press that. Okay, that wouldn't be very nice to do if your sisters or Abe was in that seat, right? But it makes it really easy for the kids to get in and out, assuming they're not being too mischievous. But there we go. You still have lots of leg room, and you have a USB over there for charging. Oh my gosh, Reg, look, you have your own vent. That's incredible. I have my own vent here too. And you have a nice little triangular window. That's great for bringing some light in if you're reading a book or something. All right, USB on this side, big cup holders. All right, and we get into the second row. And yes, we've been living in it this week. I didn't realize my kindergartner had a Cheez-It bomb back here. And she also emptied her sandy shoes out in here as well. But okay, we do have climate control options back here. We also have heated outboard seats. The kids haven't been using them. They have booster seats. All right, we also have USB-Cs down there and a full-on 110 volt or 120 volt accessory power. There's Reggie's cup there. Big windows, lights here. You also have vents up top for the passengers in the back. And what I like about these seats, we showed you the eject seats, but there's also a little lever down here at the very bottom that I can slide these forward and back, which is real nice. That being said, Reggie, you can go ahead and get into any seat that you want, and then just buckle up, okay? I'm gonna move this back. It's real easy to slide those back. And Reggie's gonna buckle up. She'd rather be in the second row than the third row. Actually, she'd rather be in the first row, but she's a little young for that. All right, now the interior in here up front, you got some chrome, of course, but then you have like this faux carbon fiber. It's all right. It kind of reminds me of some Acura products with its how it's laid out there. We have these leather seats. I've been super comfortable in them this week. They are ventilated here on this high country. Climate control has been hit or miss. Hit in that I like having my heat control right here, but if I want to get into and make sure like the back is synced, I kind of have to play around with the climate control touchscreen to make sure the back is synced. Here's the second row options. I can lock it so they can't really mess with it, but it is a bit cumbersome. It's not very natural or intuitive. You do have touchscreen buttons here for the heated and ventilated seats, which are great, as well as fan speed, but you also have redundancy with physical switches down here for some of it. I just wish I had more buttons here for climate control. And it does have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto wireless. I like how the screen is facing me, so from an ergonomic perspective with the touchscreen, it's really, really nice. And also your headlight control, I believe, is through the touchscreen. Auto high beams. Here's your lights. There you go. Here's your light. So this is a Chevy thing. Chevy likes to put the light control in a touchscreen. It's not my favorite thing, but you get used to it. All right. Here's an example of the Android Auto pulling up, and it fills up pretty much the entire screen, which is pretty cool. And Reggie likes playing these Android Auto games, but maybe we'll have to do that later, Reg. This also has Google built in. If I didn't mention that, this is the car's Google software. You also have this digital screen behind the steering wheel. I want to say this is around 10 inches. Google Maps pulls up here as well. It's very, very crisp, clear. And then this is my Android Auto Maps that you can pull up there. This does have Super Cruise, standard on high country. I believe Super Cruise is it's a subscription service, so once you run out of a subscription, you'll have to keep paying for it. So I'm not a big fan of that. You also have a very minimal digital screen that you have here. I like having this up. You can see my 20 miles per gallon, mainly in town. Heated steering wheel as well. Here's your cruise control, Super Cruise buttons, leather steering wheel. And here's something that is missing in here. I don't see auto brake hold. I've been in other GM products where the auto brake hold button is over here. I can't find it anywhere in this vehicle. We do have auto folding mirrors here on this model, which is nice, but I would absolutely trade that for access to an auto brake hold, as well as I would trade a digital rearview mirror for an auto brake hold. I have really good visibility out the back, despite the big headrest, so well done, Chevy. Also, this comes with a massive panoramic roof, sunglasses holder as well. The wife appreciates that. A vanity mirror, double lights, and wireless charger is standard, as well as these USBs down here. Cup holders are great, kind of this hidden storage. Now, I keep this open, and this is a ding on this vehicle. All this chrome and this glossy black, I get blinded. Sometimes I get blinded by the reflections on the chrome on the steering wheel. And I also get blinded by this area too with the high reflective surfaces. So I actually keep this open so I don't get blinded by it. And then inside here, we have a rubber mat at the bottom and a little light in there. So I do appreciate that access to storage. That was a front cross traffic alert and rear cross traffic alert. So we do have a 360 camera in here. For example, you should be able to see some people walking around just briefly. But yeah, 360 camera has been really helpful for Carline. Lastly, we do have memory seats over here too. So let's go and start driving the new high country Traverse. Buckling up, now this is a Chevy thing. Traditionally by the factory, it won't let you put it into drive unless you buckle, but luckily there's a setting in the menu that you can shift gears or put it into drive without putting the seat buckle on. To me, it's infuriating when I'm just trying to move the car around the driveway. So I like, just let me drive the car how I want to drive it, and it's my choice to not have a seatbelt on when I'm moving the car around in my driveway. All right, so that out of the way. The blinkers here, nothing weird about them. Some of you might be saying, why are you talking about the blinkers? Well, I've been in a lot of cars recently where the blinker returns to center. And the blinker is, I don't know, sometimes I don't know if it's on or not because it's too quiet. But I do like the blinker settings in here. I can't believe that's one of the first things I'm talking about. This front wheel drive model. Okay, so you just pull out of the parking lot there. It's very smooth, and I'm sure the all-wheel drive model is as well. The Traverse is incredibly smooth. Ride quality, even with these 22s, is supple. Very, very impressive. It handles the bumps. You just feel like, it almost feels like old school Cadillac, very floaty. And this is an instance where I wish I had auto brake hold so I could just take my foot off the brake. I've been putting it into park a lot this week when I'm stopped at a stoplight like this. So it is what it is, but yeah, that's a big ding for me. But yeah, so let's talk about the powertrain as we accelerate here. And I remember this on the Buick counterpart. We drove that last year, which is the same platform, should be made in the same assembly line, etc. The engine here it seems out of place. Not with its smoothness, not with its power. I think I'm all happy with the transmission. It's just loud. Everything about this vehicle is really quiet. I have, double pane windows here, which keeps things very, very quiet. All right, this powertrain, it's just loud. I don't know why everything else is so quiet about the car except the engine coming through the cabin. Now, when you're just cruising here, you don't notice it. But anytime you're accelerating with slight, I don't know, briskness, if that's a word, or slight motivation, the engine, and it doesn't have a pleasant sound. It has a pretty raucous 4-cylinder sound, and you're reminded of it pretty much all the time when you're accelerating. All right, so there are V6 competitors out there that we'll talk about later that may compare favorably to this powertrain. But in terms of performance, I'm happy with the performance. I'm happy with the execution, even with the start-stop engine feature. So when I come to the stoplight up here, typically engine start-stop drives me crazy. When the engine turns off at a stoplight, it'll shake the car, and then it'll turn on violently because it needs to run air conditioning. It hasn't been bothering me this week at all. So Chevy's done a really good job with smoothing this engine out. It just turned off. I didn't even know it turned off. That's how smooth the engine turnoff is. Let's say I get off the brake, and I didn't even really feel it turn it back on. I've had hybrids that have more intrusive start-stop technology on them. All right, but Chevy's done some sort of wizardry to make me not even know about the start-stop feature in here. However, they just completely, it's like all their research and development went into refining this powertrain, but not keeping the noise out of the cabin. All right, with that being said, I mentioned the comfort in here is fantastic. Oh wow, that Volvo just hopped that curb. Now also with the engine idling here, I can feel it bringing some vibrations through the cabin. I think it's perfectly acceptable. I mean, I can tell it's a 4-cylinder at idling, but honestly, it's pretty minor. Most of the vibrations are coming through the floor in like the armrest area, maybe the seat. I'm not actually getting much vibration through the pedals or the steering wheel, which I appreciate. All right, let's talk about handling. I don't really have turns in Florida, but every once in a while, I have the kids loaded up and we're flying around turns. It's very tippy in the turns. It wants to fall over. So they've prioritized comfort and smoothness at the sake of pretty much any sort of firm handling. And some people that's going to be okay for. For me, I like to have more control over the vehicle when I'm turning. It feels a little bit too loose for my liking. Yeah, so back to the handling. Sorry I had to take a phone call, but back to the handling. This vehicle, it's just super, super soft. So if you're a mom or a dad and all you care about is point A to point B and comfort, this vehicle is gonna be just fine. But if you have any sort of hint of hustle, and if you have a lot of turns, or you have any sort of sportiness in your soul, even though the powertrain's capable, the suspension is like an old soul, okay? So it's not meant for that, even though the engine kind of has a younger soul to it, all right? So the Chevy Traverse, as I sum it up here, it's very vanilla. Lots of space. It looks cool on the outside. The tech here is great. But at $55K personally, there's a lot of other three-row crossovers that I would rather have. The CX-90 from Mazda is so much more fun to drive, more engaging, but it compromises on interior space. But I would take the Mazda over this, absolutely. All right. Would I take the Grand Highlander? Yes, I'd take the Grand Highlander at $55K because you can get the turbo hybrid in that. That's going to get you about 25 miles per gallon, so better fuel economy and better performance than this vehicle at the same price, assuming no discounts. We'll talk about discounts here in a little bit once I run through the competition. All right. Another big three-row crossover, something like the Honda Pilot. Honda Pilot I would take over this. It's so much more fun to drive. It has the V6. The Nissan Pathfinder has a V6. It's not quite as big as this, but there's crazy deals going on the Pathfinder. And the V6 is something special in that vehicle. Even looking at Volkswagen, if you look at the Volkswagen Atlas, I like that vehicle better than this. All right, it's just a little bit more engaging. I think it has better standard equipment as well. So I might actually take that over this too. But it's almost a coin flip. That's a good vehicle. It's just very vanilla like this. Both of them have turbo 4-cylinders. I think that one might be slightly more efficient than this though. All right, so here's the thing. I would not be paying for the high country on the Chevy Traverse. What would I be interested in? Well, the base model, really. Yes, the Z71 or the off-road trim looks really cool with the big tires and stuff, but I'm not off-roading, and I think the LT model is the way to go, especially I'm seeing discounts on it. So the price is raised model year 24 to 25. So the LT's MSRP is for around 42 or 43K, but I'm seeing discounts in the mid 30s for that, and it's a great buy for the mid 30s, the Chevy Traverse LT. It's high country, it's just priced too high, and I'd rather have so many other competitors to this that just do a lot of the things that I prioritize better, like handling and sportiness and interior design. It's okay. I like the tech in here. It's just kind of basic. Even though the materials are good, it's just very blah. All right. But let me know what you guys think of the Chevy Traverse. Let me know what you would be picking. Do you think the LT, with the prices that I'm seeing on those models, do you think that's the way to go over this high country or the Z71? Or there's an RS trim as well, but this thing's not sporty. I guess maybe they stiffen up the suspension to make it more fun to drive. It's hard for me to say since I haven't driven it to say if it would be any better. But I'd just be sticking with the base LT, calling it a day, saving about almost $20,000, sorry, off of the MSRP on this for the base LT for the prices out there right now. All right, thank you guys for watching. Thanks, Reg, for coming along with us. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay tuned for more family reviews. I know I didn't pack the whole family in for this one, but we've been living in it this week. And so I've got a lot of feedback from all members of the family on the Chevy Traverse. I tried my best to communicate that today. So thank you guys for watching. I guess we'll summarize this with the U-turn. How good is the U-turning here? It's actually really good for such a big vehicle. Yeah, it doesn't really feel like it has as much horsepower as it does, and the torque's good. The transmission, while it's smooth, it's just very lethargic. So I'm going to end it there. Thank you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.